everyone. So in this video I want to show you some good right hand fingerstyle technique. So we're going to take a look at on acoustic guitar, but of course it applies to classical guitar, which is where it originated from. So to have a good fingerstyle technique, there's a few things we want to look at. So we're going to start with just resting your thumb on the 5th string, pointer finger on the 3rd string, middle finger on the 2nd string, ring finger on the 1st string, just like that. And as you notice, my wrist and my arm are pretty much straight. My forearm, wrist to my elbow, that whole line is pretty much straight. So it's not kind of like this, curved up. It's not curved up like that. It's not like that. So basically it's pretty much just straight like that, okay? And then you can see my fingers are curled inwards like that. And let's take a look at a finger stroke. So we're gonna use this pointer finger. So this is a good fingerstyle finger stroke. And what you notice what happens is that it moves from this main joint up here, and then the whole finger comes inward, moving from that big main joint. Okay, and same thing on the middle finger, moves from that big main joint, goes inwards. And from the ring finger, same thing, goes inwards just like that. So that's the movement you want. So you don't want this, where it's kind of like moving from this small joint here. You want this, moving from this big joint. The reason why is you get a louder sound, a more fuller stroke with less effort, because it's like you're using your whole finger instead of just this tiny part of your finger. You're using your whole finger like that. And you want to make sure that the movement is going inward to your hand. So you definitely don't want this, where your fingers are coming out. The reason why is because that's different, that's extra movement that you don't want. It's like you're pulling the strings outward, but we don't really need to do that. We don't need to pull the strings outward. All we want to do is stroke the string by moving our finger inward like that. Otherwise, we're doing extra movement. Okay? So if you see if I play a little bit, fingers are moving from those big joints. Kind of see that whole finger movement. And they're moving inward to the hand. And if you find that you don't have enough room, or if you find that when you're doing it, your fingers just can't seem to help coming out like that, that's usually because there's not enough room in your hand here, in the palm inside, for the finger to go inward. And so naturally your finger kind of pums out because there's not really room for it to go inward. So if you find your fingers are doing that, coming outward when you pluck, then what you can do is raise your wrist a little bit like that. So if I was like here, I can raise my wrist a little bit, and then that'll give more room inside the palm. And now those fingers will have plenty of room to come in. So that's the finger technique. And one more thing on the finger technique, make sure that you're stroking the string with this, from your point of view, would be your left side of the tip of the finger. If you're looking at your finger, your left side of the tip. So not right on the tip, definitely not on the right side, but like on that left side of the tip. That's where you want the fingers to stroke the string. Same on the middle, left side of the tip, and the ring finger, left side of the tip. And then another thing here, you can see when I look at this angle, my hand is angled like that towards the strings. So it's not parallel. If it was like this, or you could say perpendicular depending on how you look at it, but like the strings are going this way, and my hand is going exactly 90 degrees that way, you don't want that. You want it like this, or my hand is coming like at an angle, or like a 45-degree angle to the strings. Then when I do a string stroke, finger stroke, I'm hitting the string at an angle. I'm not hitting it right on like that. That just gets a nicer sound when you do it that way. Okay? And then the last thing with your thumb, the thumb stroke, you want to move your whole thumb coming from this big joint, kind of like we did the big joint on the fingers. You want to use a big joint on the thumb to make a good thumb stroke. So you can see it's my whole thumb moving from that big joint. You don't want to do this, because then you have less power, and it's just less efficient when you're using this tiny little part of your thumb to do a little stroke like that, when you could just get a nice big sound with less effort using your whole thumb in there. Don't have to use so much effort and energy. And then you can see the movement of my thumb is kind of going kind of down and out. So it comes down to stroke the string on the thumbnail, and it comes out. Kind of see that.